think there's really two ways that security can lower the cost of government. The first is that if you take what Symantec calls an information-centric approach to security, then you focus your efforts on first understanding what is the information in your environment, in your organization, and what is the importance of that information. So what is that really critical information to your business or your mission, what's less critical, and what's not as important at all. Once you have that understanding, that context and relevance, then you can take appropriate security measures for the importance of the information. And so you don't end up protecting everything to the same level. So what's information, as an example, that you really need to encrypt, because it would be devastating to your mission of your organization if you lost it, versus what's information that you don't have to because it's just not that important or sensitive. So that's one area that I think security can really help. The second is, there's an old adage, in fact Linda Curitin, the keynote this morning, used it today, which is measure twice, cut once. And that is applicable here in that it is much more cost effective to secure an application, a system, a network, any kind of information before the architecture is built, before the system is deployed, rather than have to pay for the remediation cost after the fact. So if you keep security in the front of mind and really focus on what the potential issues and risks are when you're building the systems and take the appropriate countermeasures, it can save you a lot of money in the long run. The trends that we're seeing in the government really mirror the trends that we're seeing among all of our customers, including our private sector customers. And a few of those is that the number of attacks continues to rise at an almost exponential pace. The severity and the sophistication of those attacks continues to increase as well. So we continue to see more what we call advanced persistent threats, very sophisticated threats that come into your environment and can exist there for quite a while before they actually start to do damage or export information. We've also seen an increase in phishing and spear phishing attacks, as well as an increase in the sophistication. And so as more people use, as an example, social networking, things like LinkedIn and Facebook, the hackers are using the information that they see posted on those sites to then craft an attack. So an example, I spoke this morning at the FedScoop event. If I posted that on my Facebook, someone may see that and then send me an email saying, a hacker might send me an email saying, hey Gigi, saw your talk, enjoyed it, here's a link which I think you'll find interesting, right? If I then click on that link, it's very, very likely to be a link which then downloads malicious code onto my system, right? So we're seeing an increase in the sophistication of those kind of phishing or spear phishing attacks. And then lastly, I would say we're seeing an increase in what we call hacktivism. Groups that have a point to make, an axe to grind, an agenda of some sort or another, and using hacking as a tool to make that point or to bring that agenda item to the public's light. Mobility solutions really offer potentially a great promise of cost savings and efficiencies if it's well thought out, if a mobility strategy is well thought out. As an example, most organizations, they provide assets, whether those be desktop computers or laptop computers, to all of their employees. They often provide mobile devices, smartphones to their employees who need them. And then they have to refresh those devices every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever their agency's policy is. Well, some agencies are starting to look at a situation where instead of doing that, they might provide employees either a subsidy or buy a device like a tablet or a smartphone. Let the employees bring their own devices to work and then use those as personal devices as well as their company devices. And so obviously there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. It needs to be able to be done in a safe and secure way. But if organizations can work that out, if the processes and the technology is in place to enable that, it does offer the promise of great cost savings.